Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, the day's support, resistance and pivot levels and the Fibonacci's. It is Tuesday the 16th of March. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, bearish start to the day here. Going to need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 56,943 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 59,320. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break out and back through to 59,000 levels. So barring an extended rally on day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 60,575 to cap any upside. In the event of a strong rebound and extended rally, expect resistance at 63,000 to come into play. Second major resistance level is at 62,952. We do expect plenty of resistance at last week's swing high at 61,699, however. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 53,211 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay well clear of the second major support level at 50,934. Looking at the MACD, we've got a bearish cross this morning supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMA, the 50s closing in on the 100 and the 200, so you've got to keep an eye on that. Could see a possible bearish cross. So key through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 56,943 and back through to 59s to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, particularly bearish this morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 1808 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 1881. We'll need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break out from 1850 levels. So barring an extended rally on, they expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1893.75 to cap any upside. In the event of a rebound and extended rally, Ethereum could test resistance at 2000 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1967. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1722 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of sub 1650s and the second major support level at 1649. Looking at the MACD, we've got a narrowing of the bullish histograms and we could see a possible bearish cross, so keep an eye on that through the morning. On the EMAs, the 50s closed in on the 100 and we could see a bearish cross there, so that's pegging Ethereum back early in the day. So key through the early part of the morning, move through the pivot at 1808 and back through to 1850s to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, particularly bearish start to the day here. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 207 to bring the first major resistance level at 216 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break back through to 215s. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a broad-based crypto rebound and extended rally, could see Litecoin test resistance at 230 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 232. Failure to move through the pivot would bring that first major support level at 192 into play. At the moment, we're seeing support kicking in at the 23.6% fib at 195. An extended crypto sell-off could bring sub 190s into play, but should see Litecoin steer clear of the second major support level at 182. Looking at the MACD, we've got a bearish cross this morning supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMAs, the 50 continues to pull back from the 100 after yesterday's bearish cross and closing in on the 200, supporting this early morning pullback. To keep through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 207 and break back through to 215 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will remain in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, also bearish this morning. Going to see Ripple's XRP move back through the pivot at 0.4356 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 0.4481. We'll need support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break out from 0.445 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 0.44807 to cap any upside. In the event of a broad-based crypto rebound and rally, should see Ripple's XRP test the second major resistance level at 0.4605, and resistance at the 38.2% fib at 0.4632. Failure to move back through the pivot at 0.4356 would bring the first major support level at 0.4232 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.41 levels. Second major support level at 0.4108 should limit the downside. On the MACDs, we've got a marked narrowing of the bullish histograms, and we could see a possible bearish cross there. That's supporting the early morning pullback. On the EMAs, 50 continues to pull back from the 100 and the 200, also a bearish indicator. So keep through the early part of the day, move back through the pivot at 0.4356 and back through to 0.445 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, support levels will be in play.